Hey guys, Valdo here, and just going to give you guys some insights on my feelings with the new traps and some kind of some ideas what you guys might want to get started with the new league. We'll just get started with the Lightning Spire trap. That's this guy here. Generally a very basic trap. It is a long cooldown trap, so it's kind of one of the big DPS traps, really, or at least the ones that supplement our no cooldown trap, which would be Lightning trap. So here it does an X to Y damage. The trap has a duration in which during that duration it strikes the ground with thunder. It's based on crit against shocked enemies, so that also pairs very well with lightning trap. The cool relation here is that with lightning trap you can run a very shock based, clear speed based lightning trap, which means you don't run elemental focus and stuff like that. Whereas with the Lightning Spire trap, or I'm sorry, with that one, yeah, you don't want to run Elemental Focus, so that you can shock with the basic Lightning trap, and then with your Lightning Spire trap, you can run that trap with full on DPS, LE focus, all of that stuff, because you just want to kill a single target with it. And generally, the idea is you shock with the lightning trap, you throw out the lightning spire trap, and it benefits from the shock from the other trap without having to shock itself. Super cool. I like that. But that's just one way about it. The other one here is siphoning trap. Probably um, the least damaging trap here, and really probably the most unpopular one. Siphoning trap is a tether. It is like searing bond. It tethers yourself to 4 or up to 10 people, giving you for each one life regen and mana regen. It also does cold DPS and chills, which is really good actually. This is a great defensive trap. Chill is no joke. Chill is a less multiplier to the enemy's movement speed and their attack speed, which is kind of dope, and their cast speed really. Um, Besides that, all it really does is gives you life and mana regen, which is kind of a big deal. Considering this is a level 1 gym, it likely scales up. I could imagine it giving you enough life and mana regen to kind of make sense. I guess my real question is, in a 1v1 situation, how does it hold up? I love this skill. I think it is really interesting, and I find this trap to be kind of one of those traps that it basically is a utility trap, and that's my favorite type of trap. And I'm wondering if I can actually make it do some damage. Maybe get the LE equilibrium on it. See kind of where that goes. Probably fail. Likely cry. Moving on to the explosive trap. What I would probably see as the best trap in the game. So why? Since we can't really use numbers here, since those are not really going to, they may not translate the same. I'm just going to go based off this. This trap is a physical based trap that converts its damage to fire. And it's a spell. It's a physical spell. So that means that the physical spells in the game, which are likely to be have been quite busted in their history, skills like Glacial Cascade, skills like EK, Blade Vortex, and Seismic, um, uh, Seismic Wave Totem isn't exactly one of the busted skills, but ultimately Explosive Trap is probably going to be that. It is a trap that will benefit really from poison. It will benefit from conversion in every single way. There's just not much that this trap doesn't do. It's half fire. Fizz to lightning is going to basically give you chance to shock, added fire, giving you more fire damage. Stat sticks are going to work for Explosive Trap. What doesn't this thing do? It's an AoE explosion. It hits 5 times per trap. It's quite good because basically the large explosion hitting once, dropping 4 clusters per se, and then shit times that by 5 traps, then you've got about like 20 or so explosions. It's quite good. Um, People are saying the explosion is abysmal. They're not wrong. In the showcase, it wasn't very big AoE, but we don't really know where that's going. We don't really know what type of AoE this is going to end up having with an actual character. I would kind of want to ask you guys, just don't look at those videos as a good point of view for really what these skills are going to perform like. Um, Remember, they're not meant for us. They're not meant for the people who play this game all the time. They're not meant for the people who've been playing for like 2 or 3 plus years. They really are meant for players who are basically looking at those trailers, looking at those showcases as a means to start playing this game for once. So yeah, moving on to the flamethrower trap, the pinwheel trap, the basically the catalyst to what might be one of the greatest single target skills for Fire Trap. It's really lined up really to be that, but basically Flamethrower Trap is a pinwheel. It kind of has a this windmill type pinwheel type rotation thing going on, and it just basically burns everything in it and hits multiple times based on when it passes through. It's a duration based trap. It is a long cooldown trap. I suppose it is supplements your single target damage, but does 25% more damage to burning enemies. So, now the cool thing about this one is that if let's say use it with Fire Trap does not need to ignite for the flamethrower to go off because it makes burning ground. Um, Not saying you shouldn't because igniting with Fire Trap is really fucking good, but that's cool because Flamethrower Trap basically allows you to just melt AoE. I mean, imagine running up to a boss, really running up to any boss, you bear trap it, you fire trap, you flamethrower trap, and you spam fire traps for the rest of the duration, and then you just start racking up DPS. So I really like flamethrower trap. It's going to be a cool, really a cool AOE skill and a single target skill. Really not a reason not to throw it, especially at the high trap throwing speed you get to with the trapper build. I like it a lot. So, and then seismic trap, likely the other best one. Just being physical based means a lot for a spell. So I think Seismic Trap's also going good places. This one is really sick. It's like it summons this grounded nipple that punches the ground and it like makes these earthquakes. This one's sick. This one's really cool. I like Seismic Trap. There's really not much to say about it besides the massive AOE it has. So this one's actually I'm sure this was going to be great for clearing. The problem is the high cooldown, um, and there really isn't this one doesn't quite supplement other traps. It's a very independent trap, is what I'm seeing. Um, so it really kind of throws it in a strange place. It is obviously meant to be run with explosive traps, since they scale off the same thing. Why wouldn't you? But I feel like explosive trap will just end up being its own trap. I think explosive trap's just going to be a single trap people run. So seismic trap will probably fall into the shadow of explosive. So yeah, but I think this is probably the coolest looking one. Um, and then charge trap support. Basically, charge trap support is it clears up the design space for trap builds in general because it allows you to kind of avoid Master Sapper and Blasting Cascade to create a more efficient tree for your character. It also allows you to forego some other uniques that you might have taken instead. And it's also an excellent support to add to your clearing trap instead of your single target trap. So yeah, generally just really sick trap. I love this trap support. I mean, I think it's really clears up a lot of the issues that trappers had in terms of their skill. Um, their support gem section, I mean, 12% crit multiplier is pretty savage. Once you're up to 9 crit multi, this thing becomes insane. This is probably going to be a mainstay for like um it's probably going to be a mainstay when used with like lightning trap and all that stuff. And then the trap throwing speed is not bad, but I see where this one's going. The trap throwing speed on this one, which is linked to frenzy charges, having a lot of frenzy charges on a build relates to more damage, which normally is something that I would run on my fire trapper when I was running that. The reason they likely have this here is because trap throwing speed is going to be relative to fire traps changes, which makes for whatever mechanic they have not revealed yet. GGG did state that throwing more fire traps is going to be a repeatedly. Here it is, which makes it great to use repeatedly on targets that are already burning from previous fire traps. So that just means that more fire traps, more damage, more trap throwing speed, more DPS. So really, that's all that means. But yeah, this is a cool one. It really is pretty diverse, clears up a lot of space for trap builds. Um, Not everyone will use it. In fact, it might, if getting these other forms of generation for power and frenzy charges is better, this one will likely just fall to the wayside. But regardless, really sick. I love this one. Beyond that, we're gonna kind of move on to things like fire trap and lightning trap, the other ones. So fire trap, one of my favorites, really is my favorite. This one is likely going to be very powerful. Looking at the new mechanics, the removed cooldown, more AOE, burning damage, prolif changes. We're probably going to see Fire Trap back in the limelight, where we're going to be seeing a lot of Ignite prolif builds. At least, really, the way I feel like it should be ran is Fire Trap should not be, in my opinion, should not be cluster trapped. You don't want to cluster trap your fire trap. Like, I see where you're coming from, I see what you're doing, but you really want to throw a massive single AoE fire trap that ignites for a ridiculous amount of damage and spreads it to the whole screen. And I feel like that's the way that fire trap was pretty meta before. Or, well, I don't want to say meta. This skill has never been fucking meta. Maybe back in beta, but besides that, I think Fire Trap's going places. It does a lot of damage. It has no cooldown. Um, it has means of single target now with the pinwheel trap and its no new mechanics. So I don't see anything really wrong with Fire Trap. It's just a better skill than it's ever been. Hopefully, it doesn't go mainstream because I am I would be salty because I'm a hipster in some way. Lightning Trap. So this one I would say is going to be probably, if Fire Trap doesn't end up being really ridiculous, Lightning Trap will be, and that's just because of all the crit multi changes, and a lot of the critical strike changes that traps are going to be going through with the new support gem, and with the new Lightning Spire Trap. Lightning Trap is going to just generally be critting more, and its shocking is going to be more important, especially with all the new shock mechanics added to the game, shock effectiveness being changed. I can find Lightning Trap to be a much stronger trap than it's ever been. And its clear speed has always been really fucking nice. So I mean, I can't find any reason to feel like Lightning Trap won't be good. Really, we're just waiting for numbers now. We got to see some numbers, you know. So yeah. Um, and then oh yeah, I wanted to talk about Blast Rain and Rain of Arrows, and that's because they are the kind of, if you've ever played a bow trapper, the forgotten form of trapping, then you'll know that Rain of Arrows and Blast Rain have been the biggest traps to be used amongst other ones. Some other popular ones being Puncture. Val Burning Arrow was a really sick one I used to use back in the day. Puncture was a great meme. Whenever you would just throw a single puncture trap, it would shoot Vol in his knee, and he would bleed for 900% of his HP, and all sorts of cool stuff. But the point I'm making here is that with the new changes to this one, you're basically, it's going to be a physical scaling trap, um, which you must use a bow with, and it will do its own penetration, which is pretty cool. So 100% fire, physical scaling, 25% free penetration on the skill gem, and potentially some changes to make it even cooler. Um, this was strong already. Now it will just be stronger, and you will not need Zoph's bow to take advantage of the full conversion. You're just going to get it. So this one is going to be an excellent choice for a bow trapper. I think this is going to be a really cool change for bow trapping. And then one of the ones I'm really looking forward to is the Rain of Arrows. So with Rain of Arrows, you're looking at a skill that, as you can see, that big AoE it's shooting in, the middle part of this skill is guaranteed. It's not all random. It's all, this middle part is guaranteed. Everything around it is random. So the point of bow trapping is using something like a Chin Soul, or using the Point Blank Mastery, or Keystone, in order to get huge amounts of more damage, because the origin of your shot is from the trap, not from yourself. So you'll always get those more damage multipliers, and that's going to be a big deal. And I think it's going to be really cool seeing, this AoE this guy is shooting in, recreated several times by a cluster trap. Really something that I think would be really cool, and is definitely worth looking at. But besides that, that's kind of what my thoughts have been. I'm actually really curious whether this is going to be a big deal, because I want to really run some type of bow trapper again. It's been a very long time, and seeing that this and Val Burning Arrow are going to be pretty cool, I might just do that. Do like a full fire conversion, blast rain trapper type thing would be pretty sick. But that's kind of my thoughts on it. I really want to know what you guys are thinking, considering traps are likely going to be, at least for this league, it will be meta. So yeah, please let me know, guys. It's been a pleasure really talking with you. If anything, let me know how I'm doing. I kind of want to do more content, so that's all I really want from you. You guys can have a good one. Peace.